Now, interfaith dialogue is an increasingly popular response to religious conflict and religious nationalism. Now, while practitioners employ a variety of approaches, the underlying purpose of interfaith dialogue projects is to enhance religious tolerance and promote peaceful coexistence. Now, despite the increase in popularity of interfaith dialogue, rarely are these dialogue projects subjected to rigorous efforts to evaluate their impact and effectiveness. Now, joining us to discuss this and how it could foster unity in a heterogeneous environment like Nigeria is Dr. Sunday Onuoha. He is the founder and the president of Vision of Africa, an organization that focuses on bringing networks of faith communities to share God's love and empower the grassroots to build Nigeria's indigenous capacity. Good to have you here on Newsday. I want to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our viewers.
All right, let's get it started. Interfaith coexistence is something that is needed right now with 2 months to the elections. A lot of talks are actually rife in the air concerning the fact that politicians, time and time again, have tried to divide Nigerians along religious lines, and we'll begin to see religious rhetorics being played up as we build up to the general elections in 2023. But so my question is very simple. How do we drive home the point that we can belong to different faiths and yet still coexist and not make it a top and a burning issue?
Well, thank you very much. Nigeria is the only country in the world that has almost equal number of Muslims and Christians in the same country. There's no other country like that in the world. So we have our own peculiarity. And that is why for everything you want to do, you must be sensitive about the peculiarity of Nigeria. But we can also take advantage of that diversity to be our strength. When you go to the market to buy gari or to buy yam, you don't ask people what religion do you belong to. You look for the person who sells the cheapest. At this point, Nigerians are hungry. Nigerians are starving. There is insecurity in the land. And this is the best time to use the faith community to preach peace, to preach reconciliation. Because there is no authentic faith leader that will preach disharmony or crisis in the society. Every religious community speaks about faith, respect for one another. And so if Nigerian government and faith leaders will take advantage of various institutions of faith community, use them as grassroots mobilizers to bring peace, it will help our country.
Indeed, Dr. Onuoha. Now, let's talk about security and religious extremism here, which Nigeria is still reeling from. The exploits of Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping, as it were, for ransom. So how does interfaith beliefs help these current narratives, Doctor?
I think what we need to do as a country is when we see evil coming up, we call evil. In this country, all of us are here, and we were here when the menace of Boko Haram started. It looked like we were playing ostrich game. We were not ready to confront it. We were looking at it from selfish angle. People protecting their own area and their own group. Here we are today with Boko Haram, with kidnapping, with people using religion for criminality. The time has come for us to distinguish between criminality and religiosity. People must never wear the garb of religion in order to commit crime. If you are a bishop and you commit crime, you must be treated as a criminal, not as a bishop. And so we must confront evil wherever we find it, not using the garb or the cover of religion in order to commit crime. The law must take its course. People of faith can only preach tolerance, but it is the business of government to protect the lives of people. The primary business of government is to protect lives and property. Ours is to preach respect for one another. peace in the land. It is the business of government to protect the people.
All right, sir. I would like to hear from you because regardless of what you say and all the good work you've been trying to do, there are still prelates and imams that will still use their pulpits or their positions to spew hate and also divide this country. What do you think can really be done in the immediate to ensure that we reduce that we do not get to see these occurrences time and time again?
Let the law of the land take its course. In every responsible society, the law is above every other person. When you have individuals speak as if they are above the law, and the institutions of government that should hold people responsible and accountable are not holding those people accountable and responsible. If a religious leader crosses the red line, that religious leader must be held accountable and responsible. Nobody should be a sacred cow. Nobody should be above the law. Nobody should use his religious faith to create crisis in already polarized society. Every person must be careful that when you speak, that what you say from your pulpit has a way of bringing crisis or bringing peace. When people cross the red line, government must bring the law to bear.
Apparently, you have an enthusiasm for unity, Dr. Onuoha. Now, let's talk a little bit about you. You are a recipient of the Global Award, which was held in Malaysia. That's in 2013, I believe. Now, what led to this achievement, and how have you been applying this in your quest for a unified Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. As you know, I'm speaking from Onuoha. Onuoha is in Abia State, the southeast part of Nigeria. I transited to Shagamu, which is southwest part of Nigeria, at the age of 18. And that was the first place I got to know about Islamic faith. I studied Islamic faith while in the seminary and also taught Islamic religion in the seminary. I have had wonderful friends from the north who are Muslims. I have wonderful friends who are Kanuris. I have wonderful friends who are people from the south and southeast and southwest. And from my little experience, having traveled all over the world, I have come to see that inside human blood, our blood is the same thing. There is no Muslim blood, there is no Christian blood. There is no Yoruba blood or Hausa blood. There is no Fulani blood. Human blood came from God. And all of us, once we understand that there is nothing we are in this world that is outside of God. And whatever we are is a gift from God. That I am born from the southeast is God's own decision. So I owe nobody apology that I'm born an Igbo boy and I grew up an Igbo man. Somebody who is Fulani has no apology to anybody. Being born Fulani, it is God's own business. Who knows? If my parents were to be Fulanis and born in Sokoto, maybe I would be an imam. So who I am today is what God has made me to be, and I must celebrate it. Therefore, I must celebrate who God has made others to be. And when there is disagreement, we must come to dialogue table. Dialogue table is the place for an answer. Nigeria should have avoided the civil war in the 60s that took the lives of millions and millions of people. If when they had disagreement, they came to the dialogue table. We must never repeat the mistake of the 60s that led us into avoidable civil war. That mistake must never happen again. At any point, there is disagreement. There is always a dialogue table.
All right, there's always room for dialogue, but some would say also that if a rot wants to start probably in a fish, it starts from the head. And some have accused the government of also festering this division and the cracks that we've seen actually play out between major religions here in Nigeria. Do you see this as so? And what is your message to the government if your answer is on the other side?
Well, thank you. In some instances, many people have blamed government. We have and had a Nigerian leader who said, in any society where you see crisis and see insecurity that goes beyond one day, hold government responsible. I didn't say that. Government has its security network to identify where there is problem, where there is challenge. Government has to nip it at the bud. Government should not use religion to create problem. using religion to grow crisis, using religious leaders for their selfish end. And I think the time has come for faith leaders, preachers, men of character to rise and to speak truth to the power. And when people in government know that faith leaders and religious leaders are being honest, straightforward, telling them the truth, they will think before they act. I think we are at a point in which we will ask ourselves, what is it? What are those elements that can help us grow the society? When you go to a place like America, America is a country that is so divided among many ethnic groups and languages and many cultures in the United States of America. But they believe that when an American child is sick, America will be out to protect that child. When an American child is in danger, America will spend everything to protect that person that is in danger. When an American child is held hostage anywhere in the world, America will go all out, reach out to fight and to rescue. The time has come for Nigerian people to believe in the ability of their leaders to protect them. People are crying. People are homeless. There are people living in homeless homes today. Those people, what trust? How can they believe in the enterprise called Nigeria? When people are in their mosques and in their churches, the place of worship is being bombed and destroyed. How can such people have trust in the system? And I believe the time has come for government to show that if I am a Nigerian as I am, that I can trust, I will believe that Nigeria will protect me. I will give everything to protect that country.
Very good, Dr. Onuoha. Now, briefly, please, still talking about the issue of trust. Do you think Nigerians themselves believe in the interfaith concept when we are barely coexisting as a people with diversified, public politics, opinions, and what have you?
Nigerians have, we need to celebrate this concept. Nigerians. That Nigerians believe in themselves. Nigerians have worked so hard. You see in some families, Muslim marry Christian, Christian marry Muslims. You see in some families, father is a Muslim, husband is a Christian, and they coexist. The problem we have is not the people who have faith in this country and have faith in their families. The problem we have are those who are using religion to create problem. And we must stand and say no to those few elements. There are not many. They are the minority. But we are allowing the minority to have louder voice, to have louder say, and to spend their resources to destabilize our system. Men of goodwill and men of good conscience must rise now, before if men of evil character, they take advantage of us. Now is the time.
Well, I want to say many thanks to you, Dr. Sunday Onuoha, for your time here on Newsday. I want to say Merry Christmas once again and keep up the good work.